You too. Welcome back to another episode of the team specific mock draft right here at Mose Knows. I am your host, Mose. Today, we are on episode 22 of this series, and I will be filling in for the GM of the Tennessee Titans. We're going to jump right into this draft. We have 9 total picks today. Tennessee Titan fans, welcome. Mose Knows fans and subscribers, welcome. New folks to the channel, if you clicked on the link because you saw it pop up, welcome. Glad to have you. If you like mock drafts, if you like making predictions about what teams are going to do starting April 29th, first night of the NFL draft, going all the way through to May 1st, that entire weekend, then this is the place for you, and I'm so glad that you're here. So let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into the draft. All right, we're going to use the draftnetwork.com. Is what we've been using all series, so we're going to stay consistent. We'll select the Tennessee Titans. We will choose 7 rounds. We want to do all 7 for this team, and we want this to go by fast. You know, we're concerned about what other teams are doing, but we're not really concerned because we're focused on the Titans. Let's get this started. Whoa, that's the first time I've seen Justin Fields go before Zach Wilson in a while with these drafts. Okay. All right. Tennessee Titans are on the clock here at 22. Per the draft network, needs look like corner, wide receiver, offensive tackle, safety, tight end, linebacker, interior D-line, edge, wide receiver again, interior O-line, QB. Well, quarterback, don't agree with. We can scratch that off. Linebacker, I think we're pretty good. We can scratch that off. Safety, maybe we can find some role players, maybe some backups, some guys who can provide depth, can provide breather snaps for our starters, be a rotational piece, but I don't think that's a top need. Cornerback, definitely. We do have Christian Fulton, who we drafted last year. We got rid of Adoree Jackson, which was a head-scratching move to me. I would have kept Adoree. And if some people don't like PFF grading system, some people do. But if you are one of those people who subscribe to PFF and, are on top of their grading, a stat that I heard was over the past, 3 or 4 seasons, Adoree Jackson has been, a top 5 rated corner when it comes to man-to-man coverage. That's pretty good, to be top 5 in that particular category. So why you got rid of him, it was a bit of a head scratcher. Maybe some of the cap had, something to do with it. He was on a rookie deal, so he was going to be looking to get paid like a top cornerback in the league coming up here very soon. So that kind of makes sense from that standpoint. But with the defense that they have, a guy with Adoree Jackson's skill set, I don't think you let walk out of the building. But he is out of the building. So we could look to address corner. Wide receiver is definitely a need outside of A.J. Brown. We don't have many other wide receivers that we can trust. We got rid of Corey Davis, free agent. He signed with the Jets. So that's definitely an option. Offensive tackle, you could look at that. The Isaiah Wilson experiment was a bust. I don't think that says anything about the Titans and the coaching staff and the scouting department. I think that speaks more to Isaiah Wilson and who he was as a person. And even after he got traded, from Tennessee to Miami, he wasn't acting right in Miami, and it took all but a week or two and he was cut from that team. So that speaks more to the player than it does the organization. And I think strong organizations recognize that quickly, and they get those players out of the building, and that's what Tennessee did. So let's look at who's available here. You could say edge rusher is a need, but I think we addressed that with the signing of Bud Dupree. That might have been a little bit of a head scratcher too. He's coming off of an injury. He was playing well with the Steelers, albeit he did have TJ Watt on the opposite side, who commanded a lot of attention. So that gave Bud Dupree some options to have one-on-one matchups and to exploit those matchups, which he did. He did do that. But I don't think you have the same caliber of guy on the opposite side of him. I don't think Harold Landry is the same caliber of a TJ Watt, but you bring Bud Dupree in thinking that he can be, your guy off the edge. So Azeez Ojulari is here. That could be a good pickup. Kwity Paye is here, but again, that's not necessarily a need. Safety, we do have Amani Hooker and Kevin Byard. Trayvon Merrick is here from TCU. Interior D-line is an option. We have Christian Barmore, who's available right here. Again, I don't see the linebacker being an option necessarily, but we do have Owusu Koromoa and Jamin Davis still here on the board. Wait a minute now. Caleb Farley is still here. Now, Caleb Farley did drop a little bit because he had the back injury, which required surgery, which he had, I want to say about a week and a half ago. He did have the procedure on his back. Now, most athletes know, especially when you play a contact sport like football, back injuries can be devastating and they can linger, and they only seem to cause more issues down the road. So, would it be a risk taking a guy like Caleb Farley here? It could be. It could be viewed as a risk. It could be viewed as a blessing in disguise. Somebody who on most big boards is either the number one or number two corner prior to the back injury, ran a 4.28 or 4.27 in his pro day 40, his personal workout 40. It wasn't specifically the pro day, but in a personal workout before his back injury, ran a 4.2 something. And he was likely going to be a top 10 draft pick, no later than top 15. And he's still on the board here. Now, although they didn't have the combine in Indy this year because of COVID, they did have the prospects come to Indy for medical checks. Team doctors got a chance to look at the prospects, do their own evaluations, and see where the players are from the health, injury, physical standpoint. A lot of the team doctors at those medical checks gave Caleb Farley clearance. Now, I've learned in this draft process that a lot of things can be smoke screens. A lot of things can just be, blowing smoke in the wind, and there may not be any validity to it. But if teams are giving him medical clearance at this type of juncture, right, that does bode well for him. But maybe the injury isn't as bad as presumed, because he's a great corner, good footwork, good athleticism, great speed. He will tackle. He's not afraid to, stick his nose in there and lay a big hit on a wide receiver or a running back or even a tight end. So if you want to replace the cornerback position, Janoris Jenkins is 32. He's getting up there in age. Christian Fulton is going into his sophomore season, and he hasn't, fully developed as a number one corner. You want to bring in somebody else to kind of fill that role of Adoree Jackson and somebody who would fit Vrabel's defense. I think Caleb Farley would be a good pick here. So we're going to go Caleb Farley, cornerback out of Virginia Tech. And we will wait until our next pick, coming up here in the second round, pick number 53. All right, so we got our corner, wide receiver, tight end is a need. Tight end, we have Anthony Fursker, Jeff Swain. Not really a fan of those guys. We do have Pat Freiermuth, who is the second best tight end in the class here. We do already have a number one wideout, a true number one. A.J. Brown is a beast. Ryan Tannehill has stepped in and assumed the position as the leader of this team on offense as our quarterback. And we've got the king, King Henry, number 22. He might be changing to number 2. Those jersey rule changes, you might see Derrick Henry drop one of those 2s and go back to that single digit 2 that he wore at Alabama. That could be a possibility. I know some people might not be too hot about that. They might have to spend a little bit more money and get a new jersey, a fresh, updated jersey. But I feel like a lot of fans are going to do that with these jersey numbers coming up. So that'll be fun to see. But if we want to add some depth, some, what's the word I'm looking for? Another dimension to this offense. I think we can add a tight end the caliber of Pat Freiermuth to this offense and just be that much more dynamic. He's a need that I see based on who we have here. And I like that pick. I mean, we do need a right tackle, and Jalen Mayfield's here. Jalen Mayfield is getting first round mocks. I mean, he's easily the 4th or 5th best tackle in this class. And a lot of mocks have him going in the first round. But the issue with me is the tight end class. See, after Freiermuth, it's Brevin Jordan. Maybe we could get away with Tommy Tremble. Hunter Long is decent, but let's see the tackle class. Because Radins is still here, Leatherwood is still here, Mayfield, Christensen, Carmen, Hudson is still here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Freiermuth just to help this offense out a little bit more. I like adding that dimension of having a tight end with the athleticism, route running capability, and hands that a guy like Pat Freiermuth has. He's the second best tight end in his class, and if he falls to us in the second round, I think that's an easy pick for us. We are back on the clock here at 85 in the third round. Now we can kind of take a look at those tackles. Most of them are gone, but James Hudson from Cincinnati is still here. So that is a positive for us. Do we have another third round pick, or we have 2 4s? No, I think we have a 100. Is that a compensatory pick? I think it is. Yeah, I think 100 is compensatory. And then I think 126 is in the 4th. Yeah, because 102 for the 49ers is in the 3rd. Okay. All right, let's take a look at 85. Don't want to miss out on any wide receiver. Ooh. Okay. I like Amon-RaSt.Brown. He kind of reminds me of a Steve Smith. He plays with a certain fire and aggressiveness. He's a little bit bigger than Steve Smith, but and I'm not talking about traits and physical ability. I'm just talking about the desire and the will to be great, the desire and the will to win on every single play, that feistiness, that nastiness that you've seen Steve Smith play with. You see him on NFL Network now. He's a life of the party, always making jokes. But in between those lines, Steve Smith was a monster. He was in your face. He was gritty. He was tough. And I think Amon-RaSt.Brown has that same demeanor. And I think if you put him as a complimentary receiver next to A.J. Brown, now you have at wide receiver the law firm of Brown and Brown. And now we cooking. We got A.J., we got Amon-Ra, we got King Henry in the backfield. We just added Pat Freiermuth at tight end. Now Tannehill don't have no excuse. He's got them into the playoffs. He had them in the NFC Championship against Kansas City 2 years ago? Or was it last year? I can't remember exactly. But he's taking them on some deep playoff runs. Now it's time to get over the hump. And I think we can add pieces to help him do that. I like Amon-RaSt.Brown here. I like that a lot. That's a good pick. Okay, now we can take a look at the tackles. Deontay Smith is here. So you go with one position, another position can sneak up and get out of here on you. But Deontay Smith, wouldn't be a bad consolation prize. We got our corner. Let's see. We got our corner. Got our tight end. We got our wide receiver. We could look at interior defensive line now. We definitely need a nose tackle. J2FL is an option. So is Tyler Shelvin and Allen McNeil. Because who we have? Tyre Tart and Dylan Mack. Yeah, we can use another nose tackle for sure. I like 2FL a lot. Now, we might not necessarily need an edge, but maybe some competition at defensive end. We have Jeffrey Simmons on one side, who is stellar, but maybe we could look to bring in some competition for Danico Autry. We signed Julian Taylor from my San Francisco 49ers. Hopefully Taylor has an opportunity to step in and play well. I know he had some moments to shine for us, but we just have so much rotation of guys on the defensive line where he couldn't crack that starting lineup. So I am hoping that he gets an opportunity to display his talents and abilities, in Tennessee. I think that's a great defense for him to do that in. I like adding some beef in the middle, getting some rotation at that nose tackle spot. Us big dudes, sometimes his stamina ain't where it needs to be, and especially in the NFL going up against top-notch talent on the offensive line. It's good to be able to have a rotation on that defensive line, especially in this base 3-4 that we run. So I'm going to go J2FL, nose tackle out of USC. All right, coming up on our next pick, 126. All right. And Deontay Smith is still here. And I think at this point, this wouldn't be a reach to take him. We can take Deontay Smith or Robert Hainsey. I like Deontay Smith a little bit better out of East Carolina. We can take Deontay Smith and put him right in that competition for that right tackle spot. So let's grab Deontay Smith here. And look at that. A run of tackles just went. After I took Deontay Smith, 4 tackles came off the board. Coming up on our next pick, 166. We've already got 5 in the books, so we have 4 more left. Let's see what type of damage we can do. Let's see who all is available. Ooh, Chauncey Golston, I think, would be a good pick if we want some help on that defensive end spot that I talked about. Joshua Bledsoe or Caden Stern could be good options as far as backup safeties. We didn't need to waste an early round pick on this safety because we have our 2 starters in Kevin Byard and Amani Hooker. But maybe we can get one of these guys here, for depth, special teams, things of that nature. Interior O-line, do we want to focus on that right now? No, my guy's still on the board. A couple guys still on the board. Actually, we can maybe focus on a guard later. Looks like we only have Nate Davis at right guard and Aaron Brewer as the backup left guard, so we could use some more depth there. So that's an option. Quarterback we don't need. At this point, we may even be able to take best player available. Charles Snowden might be an option at linebacker. He fits what we do in that 3-4 as that 3-4 outside linebacker. That could be an option here. Could also provide us with some depth. And let me just double check because I think we can go best player available here. That would be Chauncey right now. Snowden's at 162. Again, I think having that rotation on that defensive line to me is a little bit more important than the linebackers that we have, just because we have 3 of them in a 3-4 and not 4, as opposed to running a 4-3. So you have a nose tackle, you have 2 ends, and then you have, your outside linebackers helping as a part of that edge rush. So being able to have a solid rotation with that front, to me, and I'm biased because I was a defensive lineman, that means a little bit more to keep those guys fresh, because not only do they have to rush the passer, but they also have to stop the run. And they have to be the anchor points for stopping that run. So when you got 5 guys against 3, most of the time the nose tackles getting double teamed, things of that nature, it wears on those big guys up front. So I think having a good rotation with those guys is paramount to keeping your defense healthy, keeping them off the field, and stopping the offense from sustaining those long drives. So we'll go Chauncey Golston, defensive end out of Iowa here. I like that a lot. Also, another thing that I'm thinking about, just taking a look at my notes, we could add another running back. We could add a backup running back. We have, Jeremy McNichols and Drayton Evans, but we could add another back to that group, some competition. And I like Chris Evans from Michigan. That is a good option for us there. Let's see what else we got. Derek Forrest, we could go Shaka Toney. Could add another receiver, Cornell Powell's here. A lot of edge guys. Shaka Toney, Malcolm Kuntz, they'll fit that edge position from the outside linebacker. Again, drafting them this late here in the 6th round. They would be backups to our 2 starters, Harold Landry and Bud Dupree, but it's definitely an option. Garrett Wallow could be an option if we want to get another interior linebacker for depth. Could be an option. Let's see. I think I'm going to go running back. I think I'm going to add Chris Evans to that room. Let's give us another guy that we can throw in the mix. See, I was looking at Garrett Wallow. He's going. But I like Chris Evans. Running back is not necessarily a need. We know that. But you could add competition to that room, and he could overtake, Darrington Evans and Jeremy McNichols, as Derrick Henry's, backup running back, somebody to spell him when, he needs a breather. So just doing something different, adding competition. We can still go Shaka Toney here to add, depth to that outside linebacker position. And I think that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to take Shaka Toney, edge rusher out of Penn State, like that. And we're back on the clock at 2:32, which I believe is our last pick. Yes, it is. This is 9 of 9. Could go another corner. I like Shakur Brown. I like Rashad Wildgoose. Could go another wide receiver. Sage Surratt is still on the board, which I don't think will happen. Jalen Darden is here. Cade Johnson is here. Linebacker, if we wanted, we could go Grant Stroud or Isaiah McDuffie. I feel like Isaiah McDuffie could be the pick, because if you aren't aware, Mike Vrabel's son, who is an offensive lineman, attends Boston College. So I'm sure Coach Vrabel has been watching tape of Boston College, watching games. Isaiah McDuffie is definitely a project. He's more of your old school downhill thumper. He definitely lays the boom. Sometimes in the games that I've watched from Boston College, he can be a little hesitant when it comes to making tackles, which may lead to him missing some tackles. On the opposite end of that, sometimes he may get a little bit overzealous and he might over pursue, which also leads to him missing tackles. I don't think McDuffie is somebody who you want to drop into coverage. So that limits him to being a 2-down backer instead of, a 3-down or 3rd and longs. McDuffie is going to have to come off the field until he's able to demonstrate an aptitude for dropping into coverage. If he can improve that part of his game, maybe later on in his career, he can be a 3-down linebacker. But right now he's a 2-down linebacker. I think that's why he falls to the 7th round. But I think that connection with Mike Vrabel is something that could be beneficial to him. And playing in a Mike Vrabel defense may only benefit him as far as what he'll learn, how he can improve his game. So I see that as being an option. So I'm going to go Isaiah McDuffie, linebacker out of Boston College. Pair him with his teammates, Pops, in the NFL. That'd be a good story, right? And that's it. That will do it. That will wrap it up for this mock draft of the Tennessee Titans. So let's take a look and see how we did. In the first round, pick number 22, we select Caleb Farley, cornerback out of Virginia Tech. Second round, pick 53, we take Pat Freiermuth, tight end out of Penn State. In the third round, pick number 85, we take Amon-RaSt.Brown, wide receiver out of USC. Also in the third round, pick 100, we take Jay Tuafel, defensive tackle out of USC. At 126, we take tackle Deontay Smith out of East Carolina. At 166, we take defensive end Chauncey Golston out of Iowa. At 205, we take running back Chris Evans out of Michigan. 215, we take Shaka Toney, outside linebacker from Penn State. And finally, we take inside linebacker Isaiah McDuffie out of Boston College with our final pick, number 232. All right, Titans fans, let me know how I did. Is my draft good or do I need to tighten up? Like how I did that. Is it good or do I gotta tighten up? Like make it, y'all get it. That's y'all slogan. I'm just saying y'all slogan. I mean, that's what y'all say. Tighten up. I think that may not be it, but y'all know what I'm saying. But let me know. Let me know what you liked. Let me know what you didn't like. Let me know what you would do differently. I love football. I love taking a look at all these teams. I love looking at the prospects. But you know more about your team than I do. I'm not sitting watching, Tennessee Titan videos from beat writers and reading articles about the Titans players and the plans and everything. I have my own team that I do that for. This is just based off my knowledge of football, my knowledge of best player available, team needs, things of that nature. But I would love to hear your opinion. Tell me how I did. Again, tell me what you liked. Tell me what you didn't like. You can leave a comment below this video. I love interacting with, all of the viewers who watch the videos for all the prospective teams. So let me know how you feel. You can hit me up on my social media accounts, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Those will be linked in the description box below. I need you to do a couple things for me. You click the link on this video. Once you enter Mose Knows, you become family. We're family now. You are a part of my family. And there's nothing you can do about it. So I need you to do a couple things. Hit that like button for me if you liked the video. If you didn't like the video, that's okay. You can have your own opinion. I have mine. If you didn't like the video, I'm cool with that. I understand everybody's not going to like every video. I don't like some of the videos that I see. I get it. That's all good. But if you did like it, if you did enjoy it, hit that thumbs up for me. But then I need you to do some other things, some important things. I need you to take 2 seconds and I need you to hit that subscribe button. Then I need you to take another 2 seconds and I need you to hit that bell icon so that you get notified when new content drops here at Mose Knows. I just did a live the other night. I had my 2 cousins on talking about some issues in the NFL, talking about their 2 teams, Vikings and Chiefs. I got some other things in the work. Hopefully, they come to fruition. After the draft, I'll be doing draft grades. Then we'll get into training camp and team outlooks and position battles. And then when the season comes, we got a whole slate of new content. So you want to be notified when those videos drop right here at Mose Knows. I thank you and I appreciate you for taking the time with me today. And I will catch you in episode 23. Peace.